1. CMMC, Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. A DoD framework requiring defense contractors to meet specific cybersecurity standards to handle federal contract information and controlled unclassified information. 2. CUI, Controlled Unclassified Information. Sensitive government information that requires safeguarding but is not classified. Examples include technical drawings, export-controlled data, and privacy information. 3. FCI, Federal Contract Information. Information provided by or generated for the government under a contract not intended for public release. 4. DIB, Defense Industrial Base, the network of private sector companies that provide products and services to the Department of Defense. 5. NIST SP 800-171, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, special publication that defines 110 security requirements for protecting CUI in non-federal systems. 6. NIST SP 800-172, enhanced security requirements designed to protect CUI against advanced, persistent threats. Required for CMMC Level 3. 7. Level 1, Foundational. The basic CMMC level, requiring 17 practices focused on safeguarding federal contract information through basic cyber hygiene. 8. Level 2, Advanced, the mid-tier CMMC level aligned with all 110 NIST SP 800-171 controls, required for handling CUI. 9. Level 3, Expert, the highest CMMC level, adding NIST SP 800-172 enhanced requirements to defend against advanced, persistent threats. 10. C3PAO CMMC, Third-Party Assessor Organization. An authorized organization that conducts official CMMC assessments on behalf of the DoD. 11. CCA, Certified CMMC Assessor. An individual certified to lead and conduct official CMMC assessments for C3PAOs. 12. CCP, Certified CMMC Professional. An entry-level CMMC certification for individuals who advise organizations on CMMC compliance. 13. CAICO, CMMC Accreditation and Implementation Compliance Office, the body that manages assessor training, certification, and the accreditation of C3PAOs. 14. OSC, Organization Seeking Certification. Any company or contractor pursuing a CMMC assessment and certification. 15. Self-assessment. A CMMC Level 1 or Conditional Level 2 assessment performed internally by the OSC with results uploaded to SPRS. 16. Third-party assessment. A formal CMMC Level 2 assessment conducted by an authorized C3PAO to verify compliance. 17. DIBCAC, Defense Industrial Base Cybersecurity Assessment Center, the DoD entity that conducts Level 3 assessments and oversees CMMC implementation. 18. SPRS, Supplier Performance Risk System, the DoD database where contractors submit and maintain their self-assessment scores. 19. SPRS Score, a numerical score from -203 to 110, representing a contractor's compliance with NIST SP 800-171 controls. 20. POA&Ms, Plan of Action and Milestones, a document outlining unmet security requirements, planned remediation actions, and target completion dates. 21. SSP, System Security Plan, a comprehensive document describing how an organization implements each of the 110 NIST SP 800's 171 security requirements. 22. Enclave, a defined boundary within an IT environment where CUI is processed, stored, or transmitted. Scoping to an enclave reduces assessment complexity. 23. Scoping, the process of identifying which systems, assets, and processes fall within the CMMC assessment boundary. 24. CUI boundary, the defined perimeter of systems, networks, and physical spaces where controlled unclassified information is handled. 25. CUI registry, the National Archives and Records Administration repository that defines CUI categories, subcategories, and handling requirements. 26. CUI marking, the process of labeling documents and media containing CUI with proper designation indicators like banner markings and category labels. 27. DFARs 252 204 7.012, the Defense Federal Acquisition Regulation Supplement Clause requiring contractors to implement NIST SP 800's 171 and report cyber incidents. 28. DFR says 252 204 7021, the DFARs clause that formally establishes CMMC requirements in DoD contracts. 29. DFARs 252 204 7020, the DFARs clause requiring contractors to provide NIST SP 800 171 self-assessment results through SPRS. 30. 48. CFR Part 32, the Code of Federal Regulations section that incorporates CMMC requirements into the federal acquisition process through the final CMMC rule. 31. Access Control, AC, the NIST SP 800 171 family of controls that limits system access to authorized users, processes, and devices. 32. Awareness and Training, AT, controls requiring organizations to train personnel on cybersecurity responsibilities and CUI handling procedures. 33. Audit and Accountability, AU, controls for creating, protecting, and reviewing system audit logs to track user activity and detect security events. 34. Configuration Management, CM, controls establishing baseline configurations and managing changes to organizational systems securely. 35. Identification and Authentication, IA, controls verifying the identity of users, processes, and devices before granting system access. 36. Incident Response, IR, controls for establishing incident handling capabilities, including detection, analysis, containment, recovery, and reporting. 37. Maintenance, MA, controls governing the timely maintenance of organizational systems and the tools used for maintenance activities. 38. Media Protection, MP, controls for protecting, sanitizing, and disposing of system media containing CUI, both digital and physical. 39. Personnel Security, PS, controls ensuring individuals accessing CUI are screened and that CUI is protected during personnel actions like termination. 40. Physical Protection, PE, controls limiting physical access to systems, equipment, and facilities that process or store CUI. 41. Risk Assessment, RA, controls requiring periodic assessment of risk to organizational operations, assets, and individuals from system operation. 42. Security assessment, CA. Controls for periodically assessing security controls, developing remediation plans, and monitoring corrective actions. 43. System and Communications Protection, SC. Controls, monitoring, and protecting communications at system boundaries and implementing architectural security measures. 44. System and Information Integrity, SI. Controls for identifying, reporting, and correcting system flaws, monitoring for threats, and protecting against malicious code. 45. Multi-factor authentication, AFA. A security measure requiring 2 or more verification factors to gain access. Required for all users accessing CUI under CMMC Level 2. 46. FIPS 142, Federal Information Processing Standard for Cryptographic Modules. CMMC requires FIPS-validated encryption for protecting CUI in transit and at rest. 47. FIPS 197, the standard specifying the Advanced Encryption Standard. AES 256 is commonly used to meet CUI encryption requirements. 48. Encryption at rest, protecting stored CUI data using FIPS-validated cryptographic mechanisms so it cannot be read if the storage media is compromised. 49. Encryption in transit, protecting CUI as it moves across networks using FIPS-validated encryption protocols like TLS 1.2 or higher. 50. GCCC High, Government Community Cloud, High. A Microsoft 365 and Azure environment meeting, FedRAMP High and DoD IL4, IL5 requirements for handling CUI. 51. FedRAMP, Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program, the government program for standardized security assessment of cloud services, required for any cloud storing CUI. 52. FedRAMP Moderate, the baseline authorization level required for cloud services processing CUI, equivalent to NIST SP 800-53 moderate controls. 53. FedRAMP High, a higher authorization level for cloud services processing highly sensitive government data, required for some DoD workloads. 54. Impact Level IL, DoD Cloud Computing Security Requirements Guide, Classification Levels. IL4 and IL5 are common for CUI workloads. 55. Shared Responsibility Model, the concept that cloud security responsibilities are divided between the cloud service provider and the customer organization. 56. Inheritance, the process of adopting security controls already implemented by a cloud service provider or shared services environment, reducing the OSC's implementation burden. 57. External Service Provider, ESP. Any external entity providing IT or security services that process, store, or transmit CUI on behalf of the OSC. 58. Managed Service Provider, MSP, a third-party company managing IT infrastructure and services. MSPs handling CUI must meet CMMC requirements. 59. Managed Security Service Provider, MSSP, a specialized provider offering outsourced security monitoring and management services for organizations handling CUI. 60. Supply Chain Risk Management, the practice of identifying and mitigating cybersecurity risks introduced through vendors, suppliers, and external partners. 61. Flow-down requirements, the obligation for prime contractors to ensure subcontractors handling CUI also meet applicable CMMC requirements. 62. Subcontractor compliance. The requirement that all subcontractors in the supply chain who handle FCI or CUI achieve the appropriate CMMC level. 63. Cyber incident reporting. The DFAR's requirement to report cyber incidents affecting CUI to the DoD Cyber Crime Center within 72 hours of discovery. 64. DC-3, Department of Defense, Cyber Crime Center. The DoD entity that receives and processes cyber incident reports from defense contractors. 65. Incident Response Plan. A documented procedure for detecting, responding to, and recovering from cybersecurity incidents, tested regularly through exercises. 66. Forensic preservation. The practice of preserving images of affected systems and relevant monitoring data for at least 90 days following a cyber incident. 67. Vulnerability scanning. The process of regularly scanning organizational systems to identify security weaknesses and prioritize remediation efforts. 68. Penetration testing. An authorized simulated cyber attack used to evaluate system security, referenced in NIST SP 800-107-2 for Level 3 requirements. 69. Continuous monitoring, an ongoing process of maintaining awareness of cybersecurity posture, vulnerabilities, and threats across the enterprise. 70. Security Operations Center, SOC, a centralized team responsible for monitoring, detecting, analyzing, and responding to cybersecurity events around the clock. 71. CM, Security Information and Event Management, a platform that aggregates and analyzes log data from across the environment to detect threats and support compliance. 72. Endpoint Detection and Response, EDR, security technology deployed on endpoints to continuously monitor, detect, and respond to cyber threats in real time. 73. Privileged Access Management, PAM, controls and tools for managing, monitoring, and auditing elevated access rights to critical systems and CUI. 74. Least privilege, the security principle of granting users and processes only the minimum access rights needed to perform their duties. 75. Role-based access control, RBAC, an access control method where permissions are assigned based on organizational roles rather than individual user identities. 76. Separation of duties, dividing critical functions among different individuals to prevent any single person from having excessive control or access. 77. Account management, the processes for creating, modifying, monitoring, disabling, and removing user accounts in accordance with organizational policies. 78. Session lock, an automatic mechanism that locks a system session after a defined period of inactivity, requiring re-authentication to resume. 79. Remote access, any access to organizational systems from an external location, which must be monitored, controlled, and encrypted under CMMC. 80. Wireless access, network connectivity through wireless protocols requiring specific authentication and encryption controls to protect CUI. 81. Mobile Device Management, MDM, technology and policies for securing, monitoring, and managing mobile devices that access organizational systems and CUI. 82. Boundary protection, monitoring and controlling communications at the external boundary and key internal boundaries of organizational systems. 83. DMZ, Demilitarized Zone, a network segment that sits between an internal network and the Internet, providing an additional layer of security. 84. Network segmentation, dividing a network into separate zones to limit lateral movement and contain the impact of a potential breach. 85. Baseline configuration, a documented, approved set of specifications for a system that serves as the standard for managing future changes. 86. Change management, the formal process of requesting, reviewing, approving, and documenting changes to systems within the CMMC assessment scope. 87. System hardening, the process of reducing the attack surface by disabling unnecessary services, ports, protocols, and functions on systems. 88. Patch management, the process of identifying, testing, and applying software updates and security patches to systems in a timely manner. 89. Backup and recovery, regularly performing and testing data backups to ensure organizational data and CUI can be restored following a disruption. 90. Disaster Recovery Plan, DRP, a documented plan for restoring critical systems and data following a major disruption or disaster event. 91. Business Continuity Plan, BCP, a comprehensive plan ensuring essential functions continue during and after a significant disruption. 92. Security Awareness Training, required training programs ensuring all personnel understand cybersecurity threats, policies, and their role in protecting CUI. 93. Insider Threat Program, a program to detect, deter, and mitigate risks posed by individuals within the organization who may compromise CUI. Physical Access Control, mechanisms such as badge readers, visitor logs, and security cameras that restrict physical entry to facilities housing CUI. 95. Media sanitization, the process of securely erasing or destroying digital and physical media to prevent unauthorized recovery of CUI. 96. CUI destruction, procedures for permanently destroying CUI when no longer needed, meeting NIST SP 888 guidelines for media sanitization. 97. Audit log review, the regular examination of system logs to detect unauthorized activities, policy violations, and potential security incidents. 98. Risk assessment, a systematic process of identifying threats and vulnerabilities to determine the likelihood and impact of potential security events. 99. Conditional assessment, a CMMC assessment outcome where certain requirements are documented in a POA&M with a 180-day remediation window. 100. Certification decision, the final determination by the DoD granting CMMC certification based on the assessment results and any conditional requirements met.